Om Shri Satnam Sakshi, Jai Shri Krishna. Satsang Varkha, Book 7. Compilation of Satsang Discourses of Param Pujya Sadguru Swami Shanti Prakash Ji Maharaj. Discourse 7. Human form is rare to get. Guru Maharaj Ji said, human breath is precious. We may regret it if we don't make the appropriate use of it. Guru Maharaj Ji narrated a story. Once upon a time there lived a king. The king used to cry for an hour every day. Seeing the plight of the king, the people of the kingdom were very sad and wanted to know the cause of his crying. But no one could find the cause. He later announced that anyone who came up to him to know the cause of his crying will be hanged to death. After a few years passed, no one could find out the reason. And after much thought, the people decided that an old Brahmin who was much loved by the king should be sent to the king to know the reason for his crying. When the Brahmin went to the king and asked him, the king was furious. The Brahmin told the king that he was very much aware of the consequences and would happily die. But since the people of the kingdom couldn't see their king unhappy, he pleaded the king to tell him the reason for his crying. Listening to this, the king forgave the Brahmin and told him to go and ask his Gurudev who lived on the mountains. The Brahmin with great difficulty reached the mountains and asked his Gurudev, "Gurudev, I want to know the reason of the king's crying." The Gurudev told him that the king cries for an hour, but I cry for 2 hours. If you want to know the cause, then you should go to my Gurudev. The Brahmin then went to his Guru, bowed down and asked, "Why does my king cry for an hour and your disciple for 2 hours?" The Gurudev replied, "The king cries for an hour, my disciple for 2 hours, and I cry for 3 hours." He told him to go to his Gurudev who lived in the cottage near the pond. The Brahmin went there and asked the same question. On this, the Guru said, "Would you like to see or listen?" The Brahmin replied, "I would like to see it." So the Gurudev gave him 4 keys of 4 rooms and said, "I am going to bathe at the pond. If I come late, then you may open the door of each room, but warn him from opening the 4th room." The Guru left for bathing and deliberately didn't go back to the cottage. Seeing that the Guru had not returned, the Brahmin was tempted to open the door. So he unlocked the first door, where to his surprise, he saw the room full of silver. While he was closing the door, he heard the sound of Garud, the carrier of Lord Vishnu. Garud bird asked the Brahmin if he would like to take a tour to Lord Vishnu's abode. The Brahmin readily agreed and took a quick tour. But the Guru was still not back, so he opened the second room full of gold. There he heard the Nandi bull, the carrier of Lord Shiv. The Nandi bull asked the Brahmin if he would like to take the tour of Lord Shiva's abode. The Brahmin agreed and he went. As the Gurudev had still not arrived, the Brahmin opened the 3rd door, where he heard the swan, who was the carrier of Lord Brahma. Again, the swan asked him whether he would like to take a tour of Brahmalok. So the Brahmin went along. Now, when he came back, he was tempted to open the 4th door. He did that, and he saw the room full of bricks and stone. While he was closing the door, he heard the Gadaraj, that means a donkey, who asked him for a tour. The Brahmin told him that he will first go and meet his family, only then he will take a tour. The donkey immediately took the Brahmin to his family and said that he will wait only for 30 minutes, and if the Brahmin doesn't come, he will leave. The Brahmin got so engrossed in his family that he forgot about everything. But after a while, he remembered the donkey waiting outside, so he went to look for him. But the donkey had left. The Brahmin was sad. In spite of all the effort, he had failed to acquire any knowledge from the saint. He also lost all the wealth. So he started crying too, and understood the reason for the king and the other men crying. Guru Maharaj Ji concluded by saying, everyone gets entangled in this material world and therefore he has to cry. But please, all you devotees, please don't get attached to your family and pleasures of this material world. Make your life worthwhile by rendering selfless service, chanting the name of God, listening to spiritual discourses, and associating with the truth. बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय।